Hello there, YouTube. Mad Max MTG back with just another quick video. I just saw this drop. We got some War for the Spark spoilers. This is my favorite part of any Magic season is the lead up to the release. You know, I love seeing the spoilers. I love thinking about how new cards interact with the existing cards that we already have in Standard. So let's just jump right into this. I'm using Mythic Spoiler. That's my favorite spoiler site. Let me know if you guys like a different site. If there's another spoiler site I should check out, let me know in the comments. And let's just jump right into it. So first off, we got a Lilliana. You know, if you saw my my trailer reaction video, this is no surprise. She was featured in the trailer. And let's take a look. So we got 6 casting costs for a 6 power Planeswalker. You know, six is a lot to ask, especially when you have like mono red running rampant in Standard and mono white aggro. You know, can we get up to 6? I don't know. Let's see what she does. So right off the bat, she has an ability before you even get to her plus and minus powers. So whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. That's a good ability. I mean, imagine this with a token deck. It doesn't say non-token creature, so imagine this in like a heavy token build, and especially if you're sacrificing tokens to get some other effect, like that priest where you can sacrifice creatures. And so maybe that's a thing. Let's look at our powers. +1 created a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So maybe we see the return of zombies in Standard. Zombies was a pretty powerful deck a couple sets ago. Maybe they're gonna make a comeback. -4. Each player sacrifices 2 creatures. Again, if you're playing tokens, you don't care. You know, you got a bunch of 1/1 sapperlings running around, or a bunch of zombie tokens. You know, hopefully you're trading your tokens for their Carnage Tyrants or Galtas or Nib Mizzet, whatever. Let's see where her ultimate is. Now she starts at 6. She's gonna have to +1 3 times to get to her ultimate. It's -9. Each player chooses a permanent they control of each permanent type and sacrifices the rest. So I'm thinking if she's on the field, you're either choosing her for the permanent you keep, or you're choosing some other big creature or some super powerful enchantment, maybe a captive audience or something like that. Not so sure about that -9 because they get to pick the most powerful thing they have also. So I have to think about that. I mean, the advantage is if you're sacrificing creatures, a bunch of tokens, you're drawing a bunch of cards. So you're wiping out their board except for one thing. You're drawing a ton of cards if you're sacrificing token creatures. So I really see this in a token build. The question is, what color is it? Green black? Is it red black? Is it white black? You know, maybe it goes in an afterlife deck. So a lot of cool things with this card. I always love Lilliana. She's my favorite planeswalker. Let's see what else we got in this spoiler so far. We got another Tezzeret. Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge. So again, right off the bat, he has a power outside of his plus and minus abilities. Creature and planeswalker spells you cast have affinity for artifacts. Affinity for artifacts. So there's not a lot of great artifact creatures in Standard right now, but maybe with the new Tezzeret we'll see a lot more come in. But that is powerful already. And imagine playing him and then right away you can play Karn, or maybe you can just drop a Traxos on the field right away. Yeah, excuse me, I'm still recovering from a cold. If you hear me coughing, that's what it is. So yeah, I mean, this card could be interesting. I think it's going to depend pretty heavily on what artifacts we get in War for the Spark, how powerful this ability is. So he's 6 for 5 loyalty already. So +2, Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge, deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of artifacts you control. You gain X life. That's pretty good. You know, obviously you're going to want a lot of artifacts to take advantage of this affinity ability here. So that's pretty good, and it'll get him up to his ultimate pretty fast as a +2. -3, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. It would be better if it goes back to the battlefield, but you know, being able to pull a Traxos or something, or an Immortal Sun out of the graveyard is pretty good. And -8, exile top 10 cards of your library, put all artifact cards from among them on the battlefield. That's pretty good. Now you're gonna have to do that. You're gonna have to +2 twice to get to your -8. But if you got a lot of big artifact creatures or super powerful artifacts, again, I think it's gonna be heavily dependent on what artifacts are in War for the Spark, because a lot of good artifacts left when Kaladesh rotated out. So that's gonna have to be kind of a wait and see type thing. Let me make this bigger. Oh, I didn't think of that before. So there we go. It's a little bit bigger. It's gonna be a little easier to see. Um, all right, we got a Johnny. Let's see what a Johnny does. A Johnny the Great-Hearted, legendary planeswalker. Creatures you control have vigilance. So it's looking like each one of these planeswalkers has an ability outside of their plus and minus, which I don't. Did Wizards ever do this before? I don't ever recall seeing planeswalkers that had kind of like this ability outside of their normal plus and minus. Let me know in the comments below, because maybe I just missed it. I played Magic for a long time, but I've taken a lot of breaks, so I could have missed this. But this seems like something new to me, and it seems really powerful. I mean, they're basically, your planeswalker is basically like an or an enchantment that just sits on the field and has this power, whether you plus or minus them or not. So that's going to get super powerful. Imagine 4 or 5 of these planeswalkers with these kind of with these abilities just sitting there. Just, they're really going to warp the game when these come out. All right, so 4 power for 5 loyalty. That's already really good. 4 power for a 5 loyalty planeswalker. Creatures you control have vigilance. +1, you gain 3 life. -2, put a +1/1/1 counter on each creature you control and a loyalty counter on each of their planeswalker. I'm not sure about this one. Creatures you control have vigilance. That leads me to think you want to put this in an aggro deck, but you're going to -2 it to put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. I mean, is this better than the Ajani that's already in standard? You can -2 twice, and then you can gain life. I mean, yeah, I guess this is good against like a burn deck maybe. The only thing is, once you -2 one time, they can take it out with a lightning strike. So I'm iffy on this one. This one's a little hard for me to tell how good it's going to be right now. I think it could be good in white aggro, but I'm not sure about this one just yet. Okay, on to the next one. We have Vraska Swarm Eminence. Forecasting cost for 5 loyalty. Again, that's good. Her ability is when a creature you control with Death Touch deals damage to a player or planeswalker, put a 1/1 counter on that creature. I think you're going to want a lot of creatures to really take advantage of that, so maybe this is in a token deck. I don't know. -2, create a 1/1 black assassin creature token with Death Touch. Whenever it deals damage to a planeswalker, destroy that planeswalker. Okay, with 5 loyalty, you can do that twice. She doesn't have a plus ability. She does not have a plus ability, so you're completely relying on this effect here for your creature with Death Touch to deal damage to a player or planeswalker to put pluses on Vraska. Of course, you could also, well, no, wait a second, put +1/1 counter on that creature. Yeah, so you can't even plus Vraska. So maybe there's another card in this set that lets you put a plus counter on a target planeswalker, or maybe another planeswalker can do that. But if not, she can only -2 times, and she's gone, right? Let me know if I'm missing something here. This one to me does not seem great, but I might be missing something, or there might be another card in the set that makes this card better. I don't know. Let's move on to the next one. All right, internet. All right. So now we got Ob Nixilis the Hate Twisted. I don't remember the last Ob Nixilis set or card planeswalker that we saw. I think it was a couple sets ago, and or a few sets ago now. I did play it a lot in Mono Black, but I don't remember the name of it. This is 5 casting cost for a 5 loyalty planeswalker. Their ability is whenever an opponent draws a card, Ob Nixilis the Hate Twisted deals 1 damage to that player. -2, destroy target creature its controller draws 2 cards. This is interesting. This is another planeswalker that can't plus itself, so you can use it twice, and then it just sits there until it dies, I guess. Unless you can figure out some other way to put another loyalty counter on it. And so you can destroy target creature, its controller draws 2 cards. That is not the best. I mean, depending on what you're taking out with Obnixilis, they might draw into two better creatures. Not a huge fan of that. You could destroy your own creature and draw 2 cards. Again, maybe a token deck. Destroy a 1/1 token, draw 2 cards. That's iffy. Whenever an opponent draws a card, Obnixilis deals 1 damage to that player. So at least it's only the opponent, it's not you also. I mean, maybe... I mean, that goes well with this, right? So you're destroying their creature, they're drawing 2 cards, and you're dealing 2 more damage to them. But I don't know, giving the opponent's cards is just never great. So I love Obnixilis. I've loved his Planeswalker cards in the past. Not a huge fan of this one so far. Let's move on to the next thing. Got another Planeswalker here. We got Thibault Rakish, and Instigator. 2 in a red for a Planeswalker. Your opponents can't gain life. Wow. Let's just stop there for a second. Let's just stop at your opponents can't gain life. And the casting cost. 3 for 5 loyalty, red Planeswalker, in mono red, that says your opponents can't gain life. I mean, mono red is a beast already. You drop this down, and any sideboard card they bring in to gain life doesn't do anything. Doesn't do anything. So this is going to be a great card for mono red, at least as a sideboard card, if not main deck. But let's look at this ability, see what this is. -2, create a 1/1 red devil creature token with when this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. Again, we got a Planeswalker that can minus. So I guess the idea in War for the Spark, since we're going to have so many Planeswalkers, is some of them are just going to have a very limited lifespan. You know, you're going to use it twice and it's just going to sit there maybe. This ability I'm not a huge fan of, but this ability, your opponents can't gain life. Wow. Mono red, that thing is... It's going to shut down some sideboard cards for sure. Alright, let's move on. Bolas is Citadel. 3 plus 3 black, so 6 casting cost. Legendary artifact. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. Already super powerful. Especially when you combine it with like Surveil or Scry. Just a really powerful ability. You may play the top card of your library. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its converted mana cost rather than pay its mana cost. That's interesting. Tap, sacrifice 10 non-land permanents. Each opponent loses 10 life. Wow, 10 non-land permanents. That's a big ask. And then 10 life. You know, if it was 20 life, if it just flat out killed them, that would be more reasonable. Maybe you could combine this with treasure tokens. Maybe you could combine it with token creatures. Let's look at this ability again. You may play the top card of your library. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its converted mana cost rather than pay its mana cost. So if you put this in a life gain deck, maybe? I'm not sure about this one. This is one, I'm going to have to see what else is in the set before I really get a sense of how powerful this is. Okay, widespread brutality. It's 4 for sorcery, amass. So this is a keyword ability. To amass 2, put 2 1/1 counters on an army you control. If you don't control one, create a 0/0 black zombie army creature token first. Okay. Amass 2, then the army you amass deals damage equal to its power to each non-army creature. Whoa. Each non-army creature? Okay, so if I understand this correctly, you're going to create a 0/0 black zombie army creature token. You're going to put 2 1/1 counters on it, and then that token is going to deal 2 damage to each non-army creature. So that could wipe out a lot of small creatures, a lot of tokens. It's interesting because you get this, you know, doing 2 damage to each creature. There's a couple spells in standard right now, I think, that do that for 3. But you don't get the 2/2 with it. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, maybe there's an army deck where all your creatures are army creatures and all their creatures aren't, and you wipe them out. That's interesting. I have to see how army plays out in this set before I consider how good that one is. Invade the City. Okay, Invade the City. No text on this. No text here yet for this one. So it's 3 for sorcery. Amass X, where X is the number of instant sorcery cards in your graveyard. Again, you'll create a 0/0 black zombie army creature token, put X counters on it, and then wipe out, and then it's gonna that army token's gonna do however much damage equal to X to all their creatures. And that's gonna be equal to instants or sorceries in your graveyard. I mean, Drake's already blue-red Drake's already plays a lot of instants and sorceries. So let me think about this. So let's say they have 6 in the graveyard, instants and sorceries. They play this for 3. They create a 0/0 black zombie creature token. That token becomes a 6/6 and it deals 6 damage to all the opponent's creatures. Man, that could be a beating. That could be a beating. I'm not sure how many of these Drakes might want in the deck, but that seems really good. Let me know if I'm understanding this correctly or if you have a different take on this card. That one seems pretty solid. All right, we got Death Horde Invasion here. 1 in black, 1 in a black for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and amass 1. Again, you create a 0/0, put a 1/1 counter on it. When a zombie token you control with power 6 or greater attacks, it gains lifelink until the end of the turn. Every turn, you're losing a life and creating a 1, at least a 1/1 creature token. Okay. Yeah, maybe I misunderstood this amass because it doesn't always deal damage. It doesn't always deal damage. Maybe so. If you go back to that last card, maybe it's not as good. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. So if you don't control one, create a. So every turn you're pumping out a 1/1 zombie, and if you can get it up to 6 power, it gains lifelink when it attacks. Interesting. I mean, the Lilliana Planeswalker seemed like it would be really good with tokens. An enchantment that pumps out a 1/1 every turn is going to be solid. Put this in a zombie deck with a zombie lord, you know, that pumps all your creatures anyway. Like whatever, that Death Baron card or whatever. Could be good. So this is one I'll probably try to build around. I love tribal stuff. I love zombie decks, so I'll probably try to build around this one. I like this one. The 2 casting cost for something that pumps out a creature every turn is super powerful. So especially with any type of sacrifice effects where you get advantage for that many creatures. So I will definitely be giving this one a try. All right, let's go on down to the next row. We got Herald of the Death Horde. When Herald of the Death Horde dies, amass 2. Put 2 1/1 counters on any army you control. If you don't control one, create a 0/0 token. Okay. So when he dies, so he's a 3/2 for 4, and when he dies, you create a 2/2. I don't think so in standard. I think a 3/2 for 4 in standard is not great, even though you get a 2/2 when he dies. It's just there's better things you can be doing with 4 mana, but it is a common. It looks like, and I think in Pauper this could be good. You know, obviously in Pauper your power level is a little lower, quite a bit lower than standard, so maybe that's a card in Pauper. In limited also, it could be okay in limited. Thibault Schrager. 1 in a red for a 1/2 creature. When it dies, it deals 1 damage to any target, and you can pump it for 1 in a red. It gets +2/+0 until the end of the turn. That's an uncommon. That seems odd for that to be an uncommon. I don't think that's that powerful. I mean, this pump ability is powerful late in the game. This deals damage to any target. I mean, maybe you can take out a Planeswalker with it if they're already low, but I don't think it's great. I don't think I'm going to be playing that one. Okay, Flux Channeler, 2 in a blue for a 2/2 human wizard. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, proliferate, choosing a number of permanents and or players, and give each another counter of each kind already there. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, proliferate. So this is the first card we've seen so far that can put counters directly onto a Planeswalker. So you have this on the field, you cast a counter spell, and you have a Planeswalker. You can choose any number of permanents and or players. Oh wow, so if you have like 3 or 4 Planeswalkers on the field, you can add a counter to each one. Also would work with those amassed creature tokens because they have counters on them. Yeah, this card sounds interesting. Let me know if I'm understanding this correctly, but to me it seems really powerful. You have this on the field, you play a counter spell, you give all your planeswalkers one more loyalty. Wow, that seems really strong in this set. A no escape. 2 and a blue for an instant counter target creature or planeswalker spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into the graveyard and scry 1. 3 for a counter spell is pretty good. The fact that it can hit creatures and planeswalkers is good, but it can't hit instants, sorceries, enchantments, artifacts. So it is limited. But I think you definitely play this in limited formats. Obviously, it's going to be good in Pauper. The Scry is a good bonus, but I would rather play Sinister Sabotage or Cancel, I think, but it's an interesting card. Ravnica at War, 3 and a white for Sorcery Exile, all multicolored permanents. This is going to hit a lot of planeswalkers, I'm guessing. There is a lot of multicolored stuff in Standard right now. There's the hero decks where they play like whatever that card is, the hero that pumps out tokens every time you play a multicolored spell. So this would be, you know, obviously Boros. You got Dimir. You got Golgari. There's a lot of multicolored stuff. Decks built around the multicolored guilds right now. So this could be good. The only problem is it's only going to hit a portion of their permanents. So if you wipe out half their permanents with this, you know, you're probably better off playing a Cleansing Nova or a Settle the Wreckage. But it is interesting because it can hit planeswalkers and enchantments also, not just creatures. So it's an interesting card. For Ascus Finder, it's 2 and a black for a 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature or planeswalker an opponent controlled that was dealt damage this turn. It's a common. Could work with tokens because you can just attack with a bunch of tokens, maybe get through to a planeswalker for a point of damage and then finish it off with this. Would much rather just have a kill spell than this. It's very conditional, so not a great card, but an okay card, I guess. Ignite the Beacon, 4 and a white for an instant. Search your library for up to 2 planeswalker cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, and shuffle your library. Ooh, man. This is pretty powerful. And I think we've seen a spell like this in the past. It seems like it was a few sets ago where you could search for a planeswalker. Let me know if you know that card in the comments below. I'm pretty sure we did see something like that. Maybe around when the Eldrazi were still legal and Standard. Anyway, search for 2 planeswalkers. Wow, put them in your hand, shuffle your library. I mean, in a control deck, after you've run the other player out of cards, they're just sitting there waiting. You can fire this thing off, and it's an instant. I just now noticed that. It's not even a sorcery. You can wait till the end of their turn on their end step, fire this off, and then have 2 planeswalkers in your hand the next turn. I think this is definitely going to see play. It's definitely going to be a powerful card. I'd look out for that one. Time Wipe, 2 white, or two colorless, 2 white and a blue sorcery. So we got a 5 casting cost sorcery. Return a creature you control to its owner's hand, then destroy all creatures. Whoa. Man, this is good. So this is this will be competing with Cleansing Nova for your destroy all creatures spell. But if you have a creature that you've put on the battlefield that has an enter the battlefield effect, like a Ravenous Chupacabra, or maybe a creature that draws a card, or any type of enter the battlefield effect, you save that creature, pull it back to your hand, and then destroy all the other creatures. That's a really powerful card. We're going to be seeing a lot of this card. I don't have any doubt about that. Ob Nixilis' Cruelty, 2 and a black, instant. Target creature. What does this say? Target creature gets -5/-5 to end of turn. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. That's good for 3. Black already has Walk the Plank and Cast Down, which are really good kill spells at 2 mana. This at the 3 mana spot kind of competes with Murder, which Murder's just Murder kills more stuff, but it doesn't exile. So this is a bit conditional. You can't kill a 6/6 with it, obviously, but if you can kill a Lyra Dawnbringer and you can exile her instead of just putting her in the graveyard, this is interesting. It's common, so this will be a definite take in draft. Relentless Advance, 3 and a blue, sorcery, mass 3, put 3/1/1 counter tokens on an army you control. If you don't control one, create one, so you're at least getting a 3/3 out of it. 4 for a 3/3, or to put 3 counters on another card and make it maybe a 6/6 or a 5/5. I don't know. I have to see how this amass ability plays out. I'm not sold on that one just yet. Okay, Johnny's Primate, we all know what this does if you're playing standard already, but it's 2 for a 2/2 creature that gets a 1/1 counter every time you gain life. This is already a good card. There's a lot of stuff in this set that has to do with counters, so it probably gets a little bit better. I'm interested to see what type of life gain they have in this set. How good this is in draft will depend on how much life gains in there, and I don't think we've seen 1 or 2 cards I think that give life gain so far. Alright, we got a couple of special lands here. Interplanar Beacon. Whenever you cast a Planeswalker, you gain 1 life. Well, there's one of the life gain cards, right? Tap and add a colorless. 1 and a tap, add 2 mana of different colors. Spend this mana only to cast Planeswalkers. So the fact that when it comes in, you can tap it for a colorless, that's good. And this ability to get out multi-card Planeswalkers is going to be good. I think this is pretty solid. Getting the 1 life is not going to make a huge amount of difference. Well, let me think about that. If you play 3 or 4 Planeswalkers over the course of the game after you play this, then gain like 3 or 4 life from a land. It's pretty good. So I think this one will definitely see play, especially with all these Planeswalkers running around. Emergent Stone. You can tap and add a colorless. You can pay 1 and tap, sacrifice Emergent Stone. You can cast spells this turn as though they had flash. So flash would be good if you want to drop a creature on their turn after they declared attack. Flash would be good if you want to drop a powerful enchantment on their turn. Flash would be good if you want to wait till their end step and play a Planeswalker on their end step, because maybe they've already maybe they're a control deck and they've already played like a card draw spell and they're tapped out, they can't counter it, so then you sacrifice this, play a Planeswalker. That's an interesting card. I don't think I've seen that ability before on a land, but it's an interesting card. So then we just have some lands down here. So this is all that's on Mythic Explorer so far. I like all this art. I mean, Wizards over the last, I've been playing Magic for since like 94 on and off. Maybe earlier than that. Maybe it was like 93. And man, they have just advanced leaps and bounds on their art since they originally launched in the early sets. And this art, like all the recent sets, is just beautiful. I mean, it just looks great. Look at this mountain. That looks incredible. This island looks incredible. This plains. Yeah, everything. Alright, so just want to get this video out. I'm really excited about this. Thanks to Mythic Explorer for putting up all these great spoilers. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, game good. And until next time, maybe I'll see you in the arena. Thanks for watching. Bye.